By now you've probably heard your colleagues singing the praises of automation, but what even is automation and how does it work in a tax or accounting practice? In this video, I'm going to answer this question and show you the undeniable power that automation can have in your practice this year. First things first, what is automation? Well, I will tell you not all definitions are the same, so let's start at the always safe source, Merriam-Webster's. The definition of automation is the state of being operated automatically. Now, automated workflows refer to the use of technology to automate and streamline tasks within a process. Now, in a tax practice, this can include things like the review and approval of tax returns, but also so much more, and that is what I want to share with you today. Now, if we haven't had a chance to meet yet, I am Jamie Gruhl, and after helping 500 tax and accounting practices implement automation with TaxDome, I can confidently say that automation is the only way to increase your profit and time freedom in your practice. Now, with an automated workflow in place, tax returns can be automatically routed to the appropriate individuals for review, reducing the need for manual tracking and also follow-up. Now, once a return has been reviewed, the workflow can automatically move it to the next step, freeing up the tax professional's time and allowing them to focus on higher value tasks like client engagement or also tax planning services and other high value offerings. Now, this is all well and good, but let's look at a few of the pain points you may currently be facing in your practice and see what solutions automation has available to you. And to show you these solutions, I'm going to be sharing my favorite client management tool, TaxDome. So the first challenge that we often hear about is the overwhelming inbox and voicemail. Too many client questions, most of them saying, hey, where's my return? Do you need anything more from me? I haven't heard from you. What's going on? Feeling like you have to hire another person just to deal with these inquiries is just about enough to break any person's back. Now, I want to share with you the opportunity that we have to send automated status updates. And to do that, I'm going to jump into my TaxDome system and show you what it looks like from the client perspective. Okay, so currently I am logged in as a client into my secure portal. And in this portal, your clients are going to receive notifications, updates, information that you're sending to them through this secure portal, and they're going to take action on this. So in this example, I have completed a questionnaire. My organizer is a customized organizer where we have conditional logic-based questions, so a client only sees things that are pertinent to them. Super powerful and super valuable. Gone are the day of the old organizers. So I, as a client, have completed my organizer, providing all the information that my tax professional has requested of me. I uploaded all my documents directly into the same organizer, and when I'm done, I click Save and Submit. So the old way things used to happen is that a client would deliver documents, they would send over information to you, and getting a communication back to the client confirming that this has happened was a manual task unless you had automated workflows like we're going to take advantage of here. So I just completed my organizer. You can see the status now reflects finished. And over here in my email inbox, I have just gotten a confirmation back from my client, from my tax professional, stating that they have received my documents and all of my information in my organizer. In this, we're telling them exactly what's going to happen next and what they can expect. So there's no more confusion about what next steps are, what turn times are, what is a reasonable expectation, and it will keep your clients out of your inbox. How powerful is that? For our next pain point, I want you to think about all the time that you are spending tracking down your client returns. When you have hundreds of clients and a client contacts you and says, hey, I was calling to see where things are at. Can you let me know where my return stands? If you have a few team members and you're tracking on hundreds of clients, it's very likely that you're kind of go on a needle in a haystack adventure, pushing paper files around an office, manually keeping tabs via a complicated Excel spreadsheet. All of this can be overwhelming, and it leaves you room for lots of human error and missing details. And that is precisely how clients get stuck in the cracks. So I want to show you in our client management system, TaxDome, how easy it can be to track down the information on a client. whether it's for management purposes, maybe dealing with an issue because a client called in. Any of these reasons are perfectly valid, and you need to know exactly where your clients are at any point in time. So let's jump back over to our TaxDome system and take a look. So now I am sharing with you my TaxDome page. This is the main page. It's called Insights. This allows me to see where everything stands in my TaxDome system, which is a beautiful thing. But we want to see a specific client in our specific workflow of tax preparation. So let's say I have my client contact me and they say, I haven't heard from you. What's going on? Can you give me an update on where my return is at? Now, we can do this lickety split with TaxDome by utilizing our pipeline view. A pipeline is an automated workflow that is built out in the TaxDome system. It is their specific way of calling a workflow. So we have a pipeline, and it's broken up into the different steps of the process that we are executing on to meet our client's desired results, which in this case is the tax return being completed. And so I can quickly navigate to this specific client, even if I have hundreds of clients in my tax pipeline. So you can see here, I have dozens of clients in this stage. I have clients all over my pipeline. And if you have and are managing hundreds of clients, you probably have that kind of like pit in your stomach where you're like, how do I keep track of them all? Well, this is how. I can go up here to my filter. If, say, I'm looking for a specific client or a client has contacted me to get information and details, I can go in here and search by this client. So I'm selecting filtering down my client list, and I am finding my client. So here's my example client. If I click on this and click apply, it is going to remove all other jobs and clients except for the one that I am looking for. So this is the power of having information right here in TaxDome. Now, not only can I see where they're at on the pipeline, I can click into this and gain all types of information around the organizer is linked in here, my tasks and who's currently working on this is linked in here. And I also can see exactly where they're at in my process and be able to say to my client, looks like we have received your documents and we're pending review on these. I'm gonna follow up with the assigned tax preparer and make sure that they are taking action on this. And if we have any questions, we will be reaching back out to you if there's missing documents or anything that we need to continue on with the process. That is a beautiful thing, right? It makes it so fast. There's no more digging through paper, trying to figure out what the heck is the current state of this client. Now, at this point, you might be having some extra questions about what automation in your practice might look like. And I want you to know that we are here for you. Now, we have a super active free Facebook community where we are giving out even more tips and tricks on automation for your tax, accounting, or bookkeeping practice. And I want to invite you to join us. Now, you're gonna find a link below this video in the description that will take you right to this Facebook group. And we would love to have you come in and continue this conversation and allow us to answer any questions you may have about any of the tips or pain points that we're talking about today. We wanna make sure that you're able to automate your practice so you can have more profit and time freedom in your life. Now, what about sending out engagement letters? Now, I'm going to continue with our example of tax preparation, but any accounting service really needs to have an engagement letter in place before the services are dispensed. Now, why is that? Well, one, it lays out the scope of the project that you're working on for your client. Second, it helps to reduce your risk by taking in sensitive information and having a contract in place for the work that you are doing for your client. Now, they are also the first thing that gets kind of thrown out the window because they are a lot of effort. That is, they were a lot of effort. So I want to show you how powerful automation can be in the dispensing of engagement letters, getting them signed, making sure that they're getting signed, and not continuing your process until they have been signed. And we get to do that by utilizing tools like TaxDome and the automated features built into it. So I want to share with you a specific example from a client of ours. She came to us a couple years ago and she was sharing with us that her engagement letters were kind of the bane of her existence. In November, she was spending anywhere from 2 to 3 full weekends preparing, printing for e-signature, tracking and sending all of her client engagement letters. And it was wearing her down because this was the time when she should be re-energizing herself and preparing for tax season. Instead, she was finding herself spending a lot of energy preparing these engagement letters. Now to her, engagement letters were a non-negotiable. She must have an engagement letter signed by her clients before she would begin the preparation process. Now, every business is different, but this is a best practice for sure. So what she had found is that instead of spending 2 to 3 weekends preparing all these engagement letters, she was literally able to go through this very quick process I'm going to show you after setting up her automated client workflows, as well as creating her client list in her TaxDome system. And she spent minutes sending out her engagement letters. And they're finding year after year that it's getting easier and easier. Her clients now, she adds them to her automated workflows and they are off and running without her effort at all. So let's show you how easy this can be for you. So back in my TaxDome system, the beauty of the system is that it allows you to keep and manage all of your clients in one place. Now, this includes all of their documentation, their invoicing, their electronic signatures, their contracts for the engagement letter. All of this is kept in one central location, and this truly becomes the heart of your practice. So to create these engagement letters, we're going to start here in our tax prep pipeline. And I want to show you a couple of things about these pipelines. So as I shared in a few moments ago in the video, a pipeline is a breakdown of all of the steps of your process of completing a service in your practice. So the first step of our tax preparation pipeline is that we are going to be sending out a contract, also known as our engagement letter, an invoice to our client for the deposit, and also a message that informs them what we need them to do at this step. Now, in a client experience journey, this is a critical piece to success, and having messages that are thoughtful and timely are going to make sure that your clients are able to complete the work that you're asking them to complete. So once we have created our automated pipeline, we are then going to add our jobs. This is a job here, this little card that is specific to an account on our client list. And we're going to add a job for each of the clients that we want to start. And when we do that, they're going to immediately receive that engagement letter, that deposit invoice, and they're going to also get that informational message that are all going to come into their TaxDome client portal. Let's go, and I'm going to send out 2 examples of these and just show you how literally quick this is. So first thing they're going to do is they're going to select the clients that they want to have go in. Now, again, we have a beautiful filtering function, so we can do that quite quickly. But for this example, I'm just going to find your client. I'm just going to do client, find a couple of accounts here. So here are several example test accounts that I have, and I'm just going to click 3 of these. So you would do all your clients, all of your 1040 clients at once, creating the jobs, and you could do them in bulk. So I'm going to select these 3, and it would look the exact same even if you selected all of these clients. I'm going to go to add a job. Again, it's going to create a job for that individual account, and I'm going to tell it where I want it to start. It's going to pull in automatically some default information, and then I'm going to click add. And when I do this, it says, I'm going to create all of these invoices. Is that what you want me to create? Or excuse me, all of these automations. Is that what you want me to create? And I'm going to say yes. And now I have sent out to my clients all of the details and information that I need to get my tax preparation services off and running. You can see here are my 3 sample clients that I just created. And I know I just created them because it's also timing them for how long they have been in a stage. So if you are guilty of having forgotten about somebody, we have a beautiful timer right here in the TaxDome system too. I love to think about how TaxDome is taking all of the things that are living up here in our head and we're putting them into the system. And if you're somebody who needs or wants help with that, please join us in our free Facebook community. We would love to talk with you about what that looks like in TaxDome and see how we can help you make that a reality. Now, before I move on to our next pain point you may be feeling, I want to pop over into the client experience side of things and show you what this looks like to the client. So when the client is put into that pipeline, they are receiving their contract right here. And also they have received their a quick introduction to what we need them to do at this step. So this is our message that goes to them and tells them, these are the next things I need you to do. Please take action. And here's, if you need assistance, please reply back to us right here in our secure chat. So it's a great client experience as well. And it is a super simple portal to manage. And we have people who have, everyone from their I thought they would never adopt technology all the way down to people in their teen years and 20s who are just raving about these client portals. So they're very easy to learn and navigate through. So the next pain point that I want to talk about is how we can help you improve your cash flow. And that comes through tracking open invoices. Now, TaxDome is an amazing tool and we can automate all kinds of things, including invoices. And in this example, what I want to share with you is at the end of tax season, when you are sending out your 8879s, the due dates are coming close. I am willing to bet that you are sending out invoices and they're not getting paid before you're actually e-filing the return. And that is merely because of the mechanisms that you have in place and the limitations of those mechanisms. So I want to throw out to you a solution that may help you dramatically improve your cash flow and not have you spending your special personal summertime tracking down the open invoices that your clients have yet to pay. Now, there are people who are intentional about not paying invoices, but there are also people who just forget. So why not do as so many other service providers do and get paid at the time of service? And so what this looks like is the delivery of an invoice that must be paid before the client can sign their 8879 to allow you to e-file your return. Now, this is a powerful tool, y'all, because it is going to force the client to pay the invoice before they can sign. Now, you may be like, ooh, but I want you to be assured that we have had many people who were a little uncertain about this feature. They're like, but my clients aren't that bad. There's only a few each year. They have come back raving about this feature. And the reason is that there's a mind shift switch that happens when your clients are being told that they won't be able to have their return filed for them unless they make this payment for the hard work and the effort that you have already put into the service you've provided them. It happens everywhere. Your doctor requires payment at the time of service, attorneys require it, your hairstylist requires it, the grocery store requires it. This is not out of the norm to allow people to not pay you without interest for months if they choose. Like, that's not okay. So we want to help you improve your cash flow. So let me show you how easy this can be and what it looks like from the client side as well. Okay, so I now have an example 8879 here available to me to share this example with you. And so what I'm going to do is I want to show you how easy it is to get your 8879 right out of your tax preparation software directly into TaxDome and set it up for not only the locked invoices, but also for electronic signature and your required, if you determine it is required, KVA that will allow the knowledge-based authentication to occur during the e-signature process for your clients. So I'm going to start by printing this 8879. So I'm going to click on my printer and I have what is called the TaxDome desktop application loaded onto my workstation. This allows me to be able on my PC unit to print directly from any software, any tool within my desktop to the TaxDome system. And so I have my 8879, I'm going to click print. And again, you can do this out of any tax preparation software. And so now my document has uploaded onto my desktop application here. And I can select the client that I want this to go to. So your client example, here we go. And I can then determine where I want this to go. There are different levels of security, so I can print it to private where the client can't see it. I can print it so the client can read only access to it. And then the client uploaded is read and write access. So this is where your clients would upload documents if they had any for you. So I'm going to click the firm shared. and I'm going to tell it what folder I want it to go into. So this is my 2022 return. I'm just going to put it at this 2022 level. I can move it around later if I choose to, and I click choose. So from here, I'm going to lock the document with an unpaid invoice. Now, prior to this, I had created an invoice for my client of $400 less a $400 deposit. So that was that minimum payment that we had received at the beginning of the process. And it has selected this open invoice. So now I'm choosing that. You can see it identifies that this is here. I then want to request client signature. I can choose a quick template that will drop my signature fields on to my client right here where I want them to be. And you can see here that it says this is the client that is going to be requested in this box. And I can also set the reminders here or require KBA, the knowledge-based authentication. And I can also turn on reminders. So reminders in TaxDome are a nice little feature that will allow you to auto-nag your clients so you don't have to do this. Now, something like an 8879 is a little more critical. So maybe we do this every 2 days for the next 6 days. Depending on the time of year, you may want to make it every day if it's getting towards due dates. I'm going to go ahead and click save. And now I have set up my documentation to be prepared for my client's signature. Your signature is required. This is just a little description. It's completely optional. I'm going to upload the files. So now here is the document. It is uploading in. And I'm going to pop over and show you what it looks like on the client side because I think it's really cool. Okay, so now let's take a look at what this looks like in the client portal. So your client has now received notifications into their client portal that they have actions to take. So I'm going to click into my email inbox here and I want to show you what these look like. Number one, they have received an invoice. This is an option. You can also turn this off, but you can see that they have an invoice. And they also have received notification that there's a document pending their signature. So your client can click on this and click right into the sign document button, which will drive them right into their portal. They would log in with their password and they're off and running. Now, to get to the client's signatures page, they have to first pay their invoice. So you can see here, this has a little lock on it. That is because this outstanding deposit is also locking that invoice document or that 8879 document. So in order for the client to get to it, they will be taken directly to a pay invoice screen. So this is where the communications become so critical, is informing your clients that this is how it's going to work at the beginning of tax season, so they're prepared for it. And also all along the way through our breadcrumbed communications that we're doing to provide an excellent client communication. So when the client clicks on this, they would then click on the pay button. It's going to ask them to enter their credit card information or ACH information if you have that available to them. And they will then be able to access that 8879. Okay, and so I just did on the back end, I took care of that open invoice and it has now been paid, and you can see the outstanding balance is now 0. And also that lock has been removed from that 8879 document. So the client, after they have made their payment, can now click on that 8879 document. They would go through the e-signature process and KBA if you had that turned on for it, and they would add their signature. So this is a very simple process for your clients and makes it available to them without any headache. And it is something that we've all come to expect. So I hope that this is helpful to you in seeing the pain points that you may be experiencing in your practice, and that you're able to see how they can transform the way you're working and make your life so much easier. So I'm curious, have you ever had a thought at saying goodbye to the infamous spreadsheet or paper face sheets and automating your practice? I would love for you to comment below and tell me what your thoughts are about automation. And if you have questions, please post them and we would love to answer them for you. And until next time, I invite you to keep automating, keep working towards more profit, more time freedom in your practice and life.